Hello, everybody. This is Marco Ciappelli, Redefining Society podcast on ITSPmagazine podcast network. As you know, here we talk about, on this show, about technology and society and how each one affect the other. And there is not a single episode lately on this channel that we don't talk about artificial intelligence. And today we're actually connected with something that is really dear to my heart. I come from the world of advertising and branding, and personal branding. It's something that is really, really, really important nowadays. And I'm so glad to have Vlad on the show. I'm not going to attempt his last name. I don't want to chop it. He's going to say it himself. And he's an expert. He's very well known on social media. He's worked really hard to create a following, and he's going to share some tips with all of us that are trying to be relevant and with our expertise, because you can be an expert, but if nobody knows that you are, we're going to have a problem. So Vlad, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you on.
Hi, Marco. It is a pleasure to be on your podcast, and many thanks for inviting me.
It's an honor. And I think for those that knows who you are, they'll be happy to hear some of your stories and perspective on the topic. And for those that don't know who you are, give us a little background. Who is Vlad?
Yeah, I have more than 15 years of international experience with a proven track record of guiding executives and top brands worldwide to initiate change, drive growth, and position brands as market leaders in their industries. I am regarded as one of the world's leading digital transformation and marketing influencers, thought leaders, keynote speakers, startup advisors, and internet personalities. I'm recognized as one of the brightest minds in digital transformation, and I continue to play a pivotal role in maximizing top brand success. My expertise has made me a popular choice as a keynote speaker for corporate events, and based on my strong performance, I'm currently ranked as #1 social media, marketing, and retail thought leader by Thinkers360. I serve on the advisory board of the United States AI Institute, United States Cybersecurity Institute, and United States Data Science Institute. I also serve on the advisory council of Harvard Business Review, and I'm also a mentor at UCLA Anderson School of Management, Abu Dhabi SME Hub, Techstars, and many accelerators throughout the world. I'm very delighted to travel all over the world to deliver my keynote speeches. I work with so many speakers bureaus throughout the world, from Los Angeles to Sydney. And I have been featured in Forbes, Bloomberg, Business Insider, MarketWatch, Yahoo Finance, Irish Tech News, Wellbees Magazine, many renowned media outlets. And last year, I spoke at the Global Marketing Summit, where I'm listed as a speaker alongside Professor Philip Kotler. And I'm also a judge at the Webby Awards, and I'm an associate member of International Academy of Digital Arts and Sciences in New York City. I'm also a award judge at Gartner Marketing Communication Awards. And I also mentor startups at Plug and Play Tech Center, EMEA, and Takeoff Istanbul Startup Summit,
Wow. Do you have time to eat, to sleep? No?
We are so many heads, we are so many heads. I'm also a career mentor at the University of Westminster. I have been recognized among top 100 marketing speakers by Engage, and I won more than 100 global awards. I'm invited to many summits to speak, to mentor startups, to judge awards, So I'm very proud to be at the forefront of marketing excellence, because I enjoy connecting with my audiences, building relationships, and emotional connection has been the driving force behind my growth, because I have a strong bond with my community, because I was from 2014 to 2020, I was just active on Twitter, building my community. I knew that if I was going to put in the work, this building my community on Twitter would open so many doors, So nowadays, the market is a decision maker. The market decides what is good and bad. So market decided that I'm a world-renowned marketing thought leader. I'm a practitioner. I constantly reinvent myself. I'm very consumer centric, audience centric, and I build a great experience with my audiences, with my followers, with my consumers. So as Amazon built a great experience with its consumers, Amazon has been consumer centric. Amazon has always reinvented itself. Amazon has always been experimental, and Jeff Bezos has always been actually patient. So I think these ingredients have also can also have also been applied to my business, because I have always been inspired by Amazon's growth, to what extent they listen to their consumers. And social media, many brands and many people and executives think that social media is a talking platform. It's about listening platform. You have to listen to your consumers. You have to humanize your brand. So what does it mean? That before the internet, brands were not in communication with their consumers. Everyone was pushing their message on TV, on billboards, in magazines. So consumers did not have a voice. So it is the first time in the history, marketing and communication, where consumers have a voice. Consumers have a reaction on the internet. So
it's so true. It's I'm gonna stop you for a second. There is this. It's a two-way street nowadays, right? Yes. So it's interactive. You can't really lie anymore, as you used to be, like, because it was just a message of a big corporation, of a brand to other people. Now, as you say, you are more transparent, and also you need to get back. It's almost like a constant relationship and conversation with your consumers. So absolutely. How is technology? I mean, you mentioned Amazon, which is always at the forefront of creating algorithms and promoting in a human and technical way. So today we were going to talk about AI and how it can help personal brand. Many people are scared of it. They're scared that they're going to take their persona away. I don't see it that way. What's your take on that? Can you leverage
Absolutely,
AI?
Marco. It is clear that AI has started taking so many people's jobs. So 85 million jobs will be replaced by AI by 2025. 85 million jobs, and 375 million people will switch to other careers by 2030. AI's contribution to global GDP will be in the region of $15.7 trillion by 2030. Just imagine, It is the fourth industrial revolution, the most trailblazing technology,
And how is this effective, our brand, our persona? Are we going to also be substituted by an avatar?
So just imagine that nobody will need copywriters in the future, because AI will be doing what copywriters are doing, So if marketers have built their personal brands, they will not be disrupted by AI, because marketers who have strong personal brands will be in a high demand, sought after by the world, because marketers have emotional connection with the world. Emotional connection is what sets you apart nowadays, Marco. Emotional connection. But for example, Starbucks has emotional connection with its consumers. Nike has emotional connection with its consumers. Harley Davidson has emotional connection with its consumers, because Harley Davidson has this amazing community, Harley Owners Group, HOG. So 700,000 riders go to Sturgis in South Dakota annually, where they attend festivals together. So Harley Davidson brings community together. Starbucks brings community together. Nike brings community together. Airbnb shares consumers' stories on social media, because they put consumers together. So if brands don't build strong communities, they should not be in business. Because I believe that building emotional connection with your consumers is what sets you apart. Even AI, of course, nobody know. It's not about it's all about being known versus not being known. So if you are known, it is your ultimate competitive advantage in the digital age. In the age of AI and automation.
So you leverage social media to be known. I mean, and a lot of brands are doing that. For some is more natural because they do have already a community even before social media. But with social media, you can really keep the community together. But you need to be honest and interact with them. So have you seen other company that maybe, without naming them, that's okay, some example of what could bring a failure to a good brand that didn't jump on the social media, didn't jump on this community built online?
Well, Marco, I believe that we are in web 2.5 experience nowadays, because I don't see that every social media network is built in blockchain. No, I mean, but we are in web 2.5 experience. So what is happening nowadays is so many brands struggle with storytelling, struggle with connecting with their consumers, struggle with solving consumers' problems online. Because I'm a award judge at top marketing award ceremonies throughout the world, and I can see to what extent brands connect with their consumers in the digital age nowadays. Majority of brands are selfish. They share content that is in their best interest. And only tiny minority of companies and organizations publish content that is in their followers' best interest. It's all about humanizing your brand. It's all about connecting with your consumers. It's all about building relationship with their consumers. So how Elon Musk built Tesla, right? Because Tesla has never depended on advertising. Tesla does not even have an advertising department. Tesla, because Elon Musk directly communicates with millions of consumers on Twitter. Directly communicates. Consumer connection is of paramount importance, Marco.
Yeah.
So entrepreneurs need to put a human face on their brands.
So you do need that ambassador, as they like to call it nowadays. But
as you can see, every owner of Tesla is a brand advocate, brand ambassador on Twitter, because they share their car pics on Twitter. It spreads like wildfire, and everyone knows that Tesla is dominant. And we don't remember anybody from the traditional automakers where their executives directly
we don't even know who is the CEO of.
Yes, we don't know anybody from Ford, General Motors, BMW, because their executives depend on traditional advertising.
And do you feel like this is something that, and I don't know, I'm just a guess probably, that Elon Musk did it intentionally because it's kind of like a marketing forward thinker, or it just came natural to him because who he is? Because some people may not be good in communicating. That's where I want to go.
He's a visionary leader, Marco. Elon is a visionary leader, So it resulted in Tesla's transformation and success, because Tesla does not waste billions of dollars on advertising. Instead, it costs $0 Elon Musk to tell his story through Twitter.
Got it.
Because Elon has more than 120 million followers on Twitter. It costs $0 to build your brand nowadays in the digital age, because tweeting is free, downloading Twitter application is free, distributing content is free. And what is like a brand's excuse that they don't want to connect with their consumers in a digital age, because consumers no longer trust advertisements. 1 out of 3 consumer has ad blocker on their devices. More than 700 million consumers have ad blockers on mobile devices. More than 700 million consumers. Just imagine that brands are wasting billions of dollars on advertising where consumers no longer trust ads, and no longer believe ads,
So it needs to be a spontaneous choice, like a choice of the consumer to follow somebody that is relevant, somebody that has a personal brand. Then in this case, it reflects to the value of their company. So it kind of goes the other way around, right?
Yes. So Marco, we are no longer in B2B or B2C. It is age to age, where human beings want to do business with human beings, not companies, But like majority of executives, majority of brands are in their ivory towers, and they market like it is 1995, 2005. They disregard consumers. They disregard communication. They disregard social media, and they go out of business like Blockbuster,
Right. Is there like okay, so let's say that you're not the most communicative person. It doesn't come spontaneous. I mean, you're a great speaker, you're a great talker. I'm sure you do a great job in staying in touch and being human with your followers. If someone has not, it doesn't come easy, let's say, what are your tips and advice to develop your personal brand when it may not be coming so easy?
There are some elements that can truly drive your success forward. First of all, is to what kind of mindset do we have? What kind of mindset? Are we curious? Are we open-minded? Do we have exponential mindset? Exponential mindset. We need to become more curious, more open-minded. But unfortunately, still many executives put their MBA degrees on a pedestal, and they think that their MBA degrees will bring consumers to their brands. It is false. It does not work. Because a degree gives you nothing in a global marketplace. So nowadays in 2023, the web is your CV. The web is your CV. So education was the only benchmark 30 years ago. But everything has changed. Consumer behavior has changed. Internet has democratized opportunities. Now consumers have a voice. Consumers have a reaction, So consumers tell each other. Word of mouth is very powerful. And brands need to build great experiences with consumers in the digital age, Brands need to reinvent themselves constantly. Brands need to be more experimental. Brands need to be more patient, So when it comes to building a personal brand, I believe that it's all about publishing content nowadays, because consumers no longer trust ads, and the only way to win is storytelling. Storytelling is what sells your product, Ultimately, quality is what consumers buy. So consumers are always right. The consumers are always right, and attention is in a virtual world, not in a physical world. Virtual world. Marco, you mentioned that this device is a game changer. This device is a reason why billion-dollar companies have been built in the recent decade. Airbnb, Spotify, Uber, because speed and convenience win all the time. So what is happening nowadays is that Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok, Twitter have become new BBC, CNN, Bloomberg. It is a source of information. So everyone needs to act like a media company, Marco. Everyone needs to act like a media company. You just need to imagine that you are Forbes of your industry, and you are expected to provide enlightening, informative, entertaining content to your audiences to win in the long term, you know? So whether I build a personal brand or executives build their personal brand, everyone needs to become more curious, more open-minded, create content at scale, to set up podcasts, you know, to invite best expertise to their consumers, you know, because our consumers expect to get informed, to get educated, to get entertained, but majority of brands are transactional. So consumers are tired of their sales pitches, what is in the executives and top brands' best interest, you know?
I love when you said every company and every person, it's a media company. I think that summarizes exactly the core of putting yourself out there, either as an individual or as a company, and create content that is relevant, that is shareable, that people can use maybe and amplify it in different way. Now, let me ask you this, because we're talking also about AI. What do you think about the use of, or the future, as you're so forward thinking, about virtual influencer made AI avatars? I know that there are virtual account on TikTok or Twitter. They have millions and millions of followers, and they know that is AI created, but they're still engaging. There's singer in South Korea. They are telling story. They're doing photo shooting. What is your vision on that? How can we leverage that?
Marco, you know, I believe that everyone was talking about metaverse last year, you know, and there are
nobody here, not this year.
There are 8.1 billion people in the world, you know, 5.6 billion mobile users, 5.2 billion internet users, and 4.9 billion social media users nowadays, you know. And if people are talking about metaverse, there are maybe 7 people who are living in the metaverse nowadays. And there are 4.9 billion people who use social media channels actively. So it is now or never for brands to connect with their consumers in the digital age and to humanize their brands and to tell their stories, Marco, to tell their stories, you know, because storytelling is why Nike is Nike, why Apple is Apple, why storytelling is why Elon Musk has built his Tesla, right? Because Elon lives in the future. Elon is a forward thinker. Elon communicates, you know. So
can you have an Elon that is AI, that is not Elon?
Yeah. So, you know, I believe that AI is the most revolutionary technology nowadays. It is anyone's ultimate competitive advantage, Marco. Ultimate competitive advantage, you know. It is not about it is not a matter about if you use AI or not. It is if your competitor is using AI, your competitor is going to drive you out of business, you know. I still meet so many executives, and they are very hesitant to use and to deploy AI in their daily operations, you know, because marketing is no longer marketing without AI in 2023. Personalization, customer experience, you know, I mean, you can make better, strategic, smarter decisions through utilizing AI technologies on a daily basis, you know, to remain competitive and to stay ahead of the car, you know.
And so be more personalized too.
Uber is using AI extensively in their algorithms, in their recommendations, in their personalization, you know. So we need to capitalize on data and AI just to listen to our consumers and to make better decisions, you know.
And it sounds to me that it's reconnected with what you said at the beginning, which is you need to be one-on-one talking to your consumer, your followers.
Yes.
And AI allows you to do it at scale. right? So you can personalize a message for a particular social demographic as a Starbucks while not having to use the same message that goes to everybody, because not the same message works for you and for me and to someone else that is on another side of the world. So this is, I think, I don't know what you think about it, but I think this is one of the most relevant use of AI when it comes to marketing.
I think that Twitter's advantage is that it allows you to communicate with your consumers on one-on-one level. You know, it just if you respond to everyone's tweet, just imagine that you are already winning. But if brands and executives and marketing managers don't create content, their competitors are creating content, so they are losing their consumers because they are very inactive, and they still depend on traditional advertising and traditional marketing that no longer provide positive ROI, you know?
Got it. No, it makes sense. And that applies to the big corporation and it applies to the individual personal
because traditional marketing is very expensive nowadays. I would not say that traditional marketing is dead, you know? Mm-hmm. It is overpriced, Marco.
It's overpriced. Okay,
overpriced.
That's a good point.
So what is underpriced? Facebook ads, YouTube ads, you know, TikTok ads, Instagram ads, you know. So which sports has been the most dominant sport in the last 20 years in the United States? NFL. NFL has become NFL because of capitalizing on advertising, you know. Who was the biggest advertiser on Google AdWords from 2000 to 2005? Amazon and Jeff Bezos capitalized on Google AdWords to be the #1 advertiser on Google AdWords in its first 5 years, and Amazon became Amazon because of Google AdWords, you know. Which brands were the biggest advertisers on TV in the 70s and 80s? Procter & Gamble and Budweiser. They have capitalized on TV advertising to help their brands to become biggest brand in their industries, you know. Which sports were the biggest sports in the United States in the 40s and 50s when the radio was in its heyday, you know? Horse racing, baseball, and boxing, because they distributed content on the radio, you know? So we have transitioned from radio to TV, from TV to mobile, you know? So mobile is everyone's competitor. As I mentioned, 5.6 billion mobile users, you know, 5.6 billion people use social media. My tweets used to reach 40 million people annually. I never spent millions of dollars or thousands of dollars on advertising and promoting my social media profiles. But organic growth was decisive, you know, connecting emotional connection with my community was of paramount importance, building emotional connection, you know. So I turned a following into a strong community on Twitter, because as brands build strong communities and they depend on communities, also influencers build strong communities across social media channels. So they depend on their hard work, on their persistence, on their communication, because traditional marketing was one-way communication. Right. Digital marketing and social media marketing is a two-way communication, Marco, two-way communication. So everyone needs to humanize their brands. They need to storytell. They need to get close to their consumers, you know?
So to wrap it up, maybe for people that are listening right now and they're like, okay, you know what? I understand what Vlad is saying. I want to get started. I don't have 10,000 followers, 100,000 of followers, but I believe that Vlad is right, that Marco and Vlad are having a great conversation. I want to act on that. What would be your, I don't know, maybe 3 tips for somebody getting started today to start building their personal brand on social media?
Well, first of all, they need to connect with their consumers, you know, communication, gratitude. They need to show gratitude, you know. If you have 2 followers on Twitter, you should still showing. You should still be showing gratitude. You should be thankful to your followers. If you have even 2 followers, because I remember that in 2014, I had 100, 200, 300 followers, but I was showing gratitude every time they were following me, they were retweeting me, liking my posts, showing support, So if someone shows support that you create content, you should show gratitude, So gratitude is the best attitude nowadays, Second, we need to create content that is in followers' best interest, best interest. What does it mean? That you should never send sales pitches, that I'm selling this, I'm selling that, come to our website, book us, because the world is tired of the sales pitches. So everybody disregards salespeople because salespeople are oriented on short-term goals, short-term success. We need to become brand builders. We need to become marketers instead of advertisers, We need to become the greatest publisher of information. Just imagine that you represent Forbes or big media companies, You just need to imagine that you are supposed to publish information, what is trending nowadays in marketing, innovation, AI, Because if you wanted to run TV, if you want to run commercials on TV, it is expensive. It costs money, right? If you want to buy billboards in the streets, it's expensive. It costs money, If you want to advertise something on the radio, it is expensive. It costs money, If you want to buy a page in the newspaper or magazine, it's expensive. It costs money, Social media is free. Social media is free. You can connect with billions of people if you create great content,
Yep. It takes time, but
Marco, we live in a mobile.
You can get some. Yeah, you can get something that doesn't. If it doesn't take time, it's gonna cost you money. If it's not costing you money, so you're gonna have to do it yourself.
Elon Musk succeeded against all odds, and he turned all the tables because he was working like hell. 100-hour work weeks. 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Elon reinvested all his money into his ventures, and he used to borrow money for rent in 2008. He used to borrow money in San Francisco when he was building Tesla and other brands, SpaceX. Because he did not have money for rent, so he used to borrow money for rent.
Right. So I guess the lesson here, Vlad, is...
But Marco, nowadays many people keep up with Jonases. Instead of reinvesting their money into their ventures, into their business, they go on vacations, they buy cars, they buy luxury houses, because they are short-term thinkers. We need to become long-term thinkers. We need to start thinking in the long term to build something meaningful.
And that comes to your personal brand too.
Yes, if you want to build a personal brand, if you want to build your startup, if you want to, I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I don't come from a rich family. I did not have millions of dollars to invest into building my personal brand. But social media has opened the floodgates to open-minded people to build their personal brands at no cost, at $0. It costs $0 to build your personal brand, to build your business. It is time to find your passion, to connect with your consumers, to tell your story, to think in the long term, to become more experimental, to build a great experience, and to reinvent yourself constantly.
Well, you just finished the episode for me. That was a perfect wrap and perfect ends of this episode. Vlad, I want to thank you so much for your time, for sharing your experience and your knowledge. And I want to invite all the people that are listening to my show. That may not as many as the people that they follow you, to to subscribe maybe to my podcast, and of course to share it. And I think there was a lot of interesting point and tips that Vlad shared with us. So again, thank you very much. Stay in touch, and hopefully I'll have you again soon.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you, Thank you very much.
Take care, Vlad. Bye, everybody.